videos. I apologize if I didn't shave. I'm working on my second master's degree and it's kicking my ASS, but I signed up for it. I love higher education. I'm working on a second master's degree in criminal justice legal studies, and trust me, it's very intense, but I love it. So, before I begin this presentation, I hope I can put this on pause. I'm going to go over a couple of things because, like I said before, I'm a fact finder. I don't go by opinions. Opinions are tantamount to hearsay in a court of law. They don't care about your opinions. They don't care about your feelings. Not to say that judges are insensitive people, but the courts are not made for counseling and therapy. Courts are about laws. Following the peremptory canons of public law and policy. That's what they're all about. They don't care about feelings. They don't care about your opinions unless you're a credentialed person with the education to support the facts that you are averring to the judge. And I'm talking about having a master's degree, a PhD, a professional degree. Yes, you have to have credentials before you could aver a case in claiming yourself to be an expert, because then it makes you look like a charlatan. Just being honest with you, okay? So because I'm all about the higher education, let me flip the camera over. This is my panoply of education, my wall of education, higher education. So let's just go through this before we begin the festivities here. And it's not bragging, it's establishing my credentials. And by the way, these certificates are not free. Somebody wrote on one of my videos, oh, they're free. No, they're not. If you want to earn a certificate, you have to pay for these classes. They are not gratis. They're not free. Sorry, this is not welfare day. You have to pay for them. And I'm saying that not to be jocular, but sometimes people try to insult your intelligence because they don't want to be wrong about something. So they look for little cheap shots to try to diminish your achievements, because deep down inside is they're feeling defeated. Oh yes, when I come to the table, depends on the conversation. If it's a topic that I am conversant, you better believe I've done my research. I don't come half-ass. I come replete with knowledge, okay? So these are my certificates. I have 18 of them, okay? I'm not gonna go through every one of them, but most of them are from Harvard Law. Yes, these are all professional certificates. You pay, you have to take the course like any other college level course, upper level, and you have to pass in order to earn a certificate. Here's my master's. Here's my bachelor's. Here's my associate's with honors. And by the way, I graduated here with honors, 3.94, holding 3 jobs and a full-time business, and still graduated 3.94. I wouldn't recommend it because I was exhausted, I was burned out, and I was getting sick because my body was crashing. Here's my Kappa Delta Pi honors. Here's my certificate, another one. Okay, so I just want to establish my credentials, okay? So we got that out of the way. Okay, so let me see if I can put this on pause because I want to get to the videos. Give me 1 second. Okay, all right, so we established that, right? Because I tell people I'm a fact finder, right? I don't walk into a conversation or debate, a polemical debate, unless I've done my due diligence. I've done my research, right? Just have to shut the door. And if you hear my dad talking, he has Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm taking care of him. He lives with me. And, you know, it's a mental illness. It gets progressively worse. So if you hear him talking, I cannot control that. You know, I love him. He's my father. I'm not going to abandon him. I'm going to take care of him. And he's living like a king. Been with me for over 2 years now. So getting back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, that when I walk into a conversation, I make sure I've done my research. No surface stuff, no compendious versions. I read the full amount. I read everything. I was a very good student. Again, it's not to brag. Remember, be proud of your achievements. Don't let anybody try to diminish or take that from you, because usually insecure people say that because deep down inside is they're upset that you are not a quitter like them. And people will try that stuff. I've had even family members tell me, oh, well, I don't believe in higher education. I'm like, you're so full of shit. You dropped out of school because you realized it was not going to be a walk in the park. You have to work for those degrees. You think they're just going to hand them out, roll out the red carpet, and bestow a degree upon you? No. You have to earn those degrees, okay? And it's a lot of hard-ass work. I ain't gonna lie. Like, my current master's is my second one. It's criminal justice legal studies. I signed up for it, so straight A's. Well, the one class I got a B+, but it wasn't in my major. It was a stupid liberal arts class. It was all about APA writing, and I haven't done APA in years. But still, B+ is still good. Anything B and above is good in grad school. You don't want no C's. But everything else, straight A's. In my program, all my papers, my research papers, straight A's. And I even post, because I'm a very transparent person, just to inspire those who may want to seek higher education. I posted all of my feedback from my professors in terms of my papers, and they're all pretty consistent. Exemplary writing, amazing scholarly sources, because when I do the in-text citations and the parentheticals, you can read all of their feedback. And I posted to show you that when I'm paying $30,000+ for a master's program, I'm not going to do half-ass shit. I'm going to make sure I do my due diligence and dig deep. And when I say deep, I'm talking about Mariana Trench deep. No surface nonsense. No prima facie. I'm going to dig deep because I want to make sure that when I walk into a debate and or conversation that I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So, hello everyone. So, let me see. No, too much. No. So let me see. No, I have to say that's not true. I read what you just wrote about too many degrees makes you unstable. See, that's another example of what I was just said to you before is people try to dismiss your education because deep down inside they're feeling insecure. That's not true. I can say that about people that don't have a degree. What about that? You see, it's variegated. Some people are mentally unstable that are educated and not educated. It goes both ways. So we cannot say that. I just want to make that crystal clear. And there's never enough education. You know what causes confusion? It's all the ignorance that is around us. That's what causes confusion. It's all the ignorance that's around us that can make you mentally unstable because you're constantly correcting ignorance, nescience. So let's focus on that. So, going back to what I just said a few minutes ago is I go by research. I don't care about people's reductive opinions. If you go to court, do you think judges care about your opinions? They want to know, do you have facts to back up what you're saying? Just like a doctor, you're going to go have a doctor operate on you without a medical license? I mean, let's think now. Are you going to have a doctor perform a BBL or any kind of plastic surgery or elective surgery without having an MD license? The answer would be no. Now, if you were to agree to have a person that is not licensed, then there's something definitely wrong with you upstairs. Would you have an attorney represent you without having a JD and passing the bar? Absolutely not, especially if it's a gamble on your life, whether or not you're going to spend a protracted sentence in prison or given probation. So same rule applies with me. When I engage in dialogue, if I'm having a dialogical exchange with someone, I've done my research. I do lots of reading, okay? I'm a bibliophile. I have lots of books. I do lots of reading because I want to make sure that I don't come in misinforming people, because misinformation can be very dangerous. It can have serious complications for some people because you listen to things and you do what they say, and it can put you in a perilous situation. So, the class I took last month, it was public policy and law. So we had to write a paper on injustices in the penal system, right? Now remember, this is the course with my second master's I'm working on. And so most people would choose, black and white, the same boring cliche topic. So I wanted to try something different. So I wanted to research mixed race versus black in terms of the penal system, committing the same crimes of turpitude, and I wanted to see if the sentencing was going to be the same, right? Well, guess what? it wasn't the same. In fact, there are over, because I thought there was a paucity, a dearth of knowledge or education on this topic. There's over 150 research studies showing, remember, research has the power to change public policy and law. Opinions mean absolutely nothing. Opinions are derisory. Opinions are Lilliputian. You can't go, how's your opinion going to affect Congress? How's it going to affect the legislative branch, the executive branch? Honestly, how? It's not going to affect the three branches of government, period. But research can. So I'm focusing on research. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. I don't care about that. I go by research, okay? Over 150 research studies. Initially, I had 50 on my paper because it was so overwhelming. My professor told me I had to truncate it to like 20 because she said it was just too much. She said there's a doctrine known in law as over-researching. She's like, you made your point. It was very clear. You established credibility and plausibility in your argument when I was averring my case. And that's it. But there's over 150, right? So because I'm a transparent person, I want to show that to all of you. Okay? Because again, transparency is key. But as I mentioned before, is mixed race people, and I can't say every single person, because I cannot quantify it, but I go by research. I don't go by individual opinions. Mixed race people committing the same crimes as black people, same crimes, serve on average between 15 to 20% less prison time. Yes, and given preferential treatment. So I'll give you an example. And it's just one. There are many. So Jeremy Meeks, remember the quote unquote hot felon? That's what they deemed him as. They listed him as the hot felon. He was all over the news like I think 5 years ago. He's biracial and he has blue eyes. Remember him? He had a little teardrop on the side. Well, he committed a serious crime of turpitude. It was something with he had possession of a rifle or a gun. And you know when you're a convicted felon, because he's a convicted felon, when you're a felon, you cannot own a gun. Just telling you, that's a big no-no. Well, he defied the law and had a gun. I think it was a rifle or a pistol. It was something like that, but it was a firearm. And so he was facing about 6 to 7 years in prison, right? You know what the judge did? Because he was getting a flood of letters every day, over 200 a day, from all cultures around the world, all these modeling agencies, because he's light-skinned, has blue eyes. Remember I told you, mixed race features, okay? A flood of letters every single day. You know what the judge did? She truncated his sentence. Instead of 6 years, gave him half. And you know what her rationale was? So he can pursue his modeling career. Now, the other guys that were part of his cabal that committed the same crimes of turpitude did not receive the same treatment. Isn't that interesting? Just trying to tell you. See, I'm a fact finder. Sometimes topics make people feel uncomfortable because they don't want to accept the truth because it causes anxiety, sometimes compunction. So they engage in what they call it's called cognitive dissonance. Look it up, where they look for reasons or things to restore consistency because they don't want to be corrected. They don't want to admit that they're wrong. If I'm wrong about something, I'll stand corrected. That's how you handle your business. Because guess what? I'm not conversant on every topic. Now I do know my shit, but I don't know everything. I'm not omniscient. Nobody's omniscient. Nobody's omnipotent. Nobody is omnipresent or ubiquitous except for the Lord, the Almighty Lord, okay, in spirit. But my point is, with Jeremy Meeks, they reduced his sentence all because he fits the standard of the white standard of being attractive, acceptable, pleasing to the eyes. Yes, they've done studies on this stuff. And it makes people feel uncomfortable because they don't want to accept the truth. So what they do is they engage in cognitive dissonance, as I mentioned, look for ways to restore consistency. Oh, well, when a police pulls you over, I know what you're doing. You don't want to be wrong. So, and that's something I tell people you need to examine in yourself. When you are trying to look for ways to not be wrong, that shows there's something you're battling inside is maybe there's some self-esteem issues going on, some insecurities. If you don't know something, you don't know it. For example, I love cars, I love race cars, but I'm not a mechanic. So Why would I engage? Make sure you subscribe to my channel, everyone, and hit the notification button, please. I love cars, but that's not within my purview. So because I'm not proficient in that arena, I'm not going to debate with a mechanic. I sit back, again, smart people sit back and listen, because I realize that's not my field, right? You see what I'm saying? When it comes to biology, even though I have, certifications and stuff, I mean, I can still hold my own in biology, but I'm not an expert in biology. So guess what I do? If a nurse is talking to me or a doctor, now there's some things I can relate to because I do know a lot about biology, but I'm still not on their level. I sit back and listen because I realize that's not my field. But when it comes to this topic about racism, sexism, ageism, homophobia, any of those topics dealing with counseling, social work, the social sciences, that's my baby. That's where I shine because I spent 25 plus years in the field of social sciences, and I was a very good student to current. I don't submit half-ass work. I spend hours upon hours reading all the research so I can build my case. Just like when you're in court, right? To aver your case with facts, not fiction. Said it before and I say it again, is mixed race people, even though we're variegated, it could be any mix. And even though race doesn't really exist as a social construct, but genetic markers, alleles, homogeneous or heterogeneous, I got stuck on something. So alleles, heterozygous is what I was looking for. Sorry about that. So homozygous and heterozygous alleles do exist. Genetic markers exist. DNA sequencing exists. Okay? I just want to make that crystal clear. Mixed race people, let's say black and white because that's the most controversial and polemical topic that people like to kind of go back and forth on, are not black. They're what they are, mixed race, and I can prove it. Now, I'm gonna try to put this on pause because I'm not really good about computer stuff. See, again, this is not within my purview. I'm not computer savvy, but there are research studies. I told you about the penal system. There's a whole bunch of other ones about when it comes to income disparities, education, employment opportunities, housing. They usually have an edge over our black kinfolk because I'm half West African and half European. Serbian, mainly Serbian, so that's Balkan people. Anyway, research consistently shows what I'm telling you. So I go by research. I don't go by opinions. I go by research because guess what? These are by credentialed people that have master PhDs. Most of them probably have PhDs. And they're using approved evaluative instruments, cross-sectional, longitudinal, inductive and deductive designs, different various designs, evaluative designs. But the point is, they have credentials. They can walk into court and say, I have all these research that show A, B, C, and D. Your opinion doesn't mean anything. It's tantamount to hearsay. So if you go to court, the judge don't care about your opinion. Opinion has nothing to do with law. They go by, okay, Your Honor, or to the litigant, aver your case. Do you have facts? Are you credentialed? Let's go through the list. Do you have publications? How many years of experience? They go through a whole list of things, right? Do you have any publications? Any research? They go by a number of things, okay? So I'm just telling you, that's how that works. And I'm working on a legal degree, so I should know. So let's talk about medical. There's a condition known as myelodysplastic syndrome. It's called abbreviated version, MDS. Is when the bone marrow does not produce enough red blood cells and it can devolve to leukemia. It's a very real thing. Mixed race people like myself, unless it's an autologous donation or donor, which means from our own body, if it's a non-autologous donor, that person cannot be anything else but the same mix as myself. Did you know that? Yes. And a lot of doctors, because this was kind of like an enigma for many doctors, they were not aware of it. So many of them they're now learning about this. So now you'll see it's becoming more popular. Mixed race bone marrow campaigns. Yes. It's becoming a popular thing a prominent thing, I should say, is because a lot of people are not aware that this is the case. I mean, this is a real thing. I won't mention the name, but I have a client Her daughter passed away. She was biracial, half black, half white. Could not find a match of the same mix as her. There's a paucity of mixed race bone marrow, in the medical system. And because of that, people are dying. It's a very real thing. It's on my wall. If you look at my videos, it's called MDS. So I have two scenarios. I have one young lady that has a black father and a white mother, and I have the reverse. A young lady has a white father and a black mother. Same thing. Doesn't matter which parents, white or black. The tissue type is different. So I'm trying to educate you, okay, and not be condescending, but I'm trying to educate you as open up a book, stop trying to spread false narratives and plurality just so you can be right when you're in fact wrong, because research is not showing that. Just saying, okay? So I'm gonna see if I can somehow put this on pause. If I can't, bear with me, okay? Because I told you I really suck at this here. Let me see. All right, give me 1 second, okay? I don't think I can put it on pause, but I'm gonna pull up something. Give me a minute. And by the way, if somebody brings up the one drop nonsense, I have a video on that as well. The one drop, ladies and gentlemen, for those that have enslaved minds, was rescinded, aka abrogated, in 1967. Loving versus Virginia. And the couple won their case. It was a unanimous win. And they rescinded the one drop rule and miscegenation. So don't bring that up. That's old news. We're not living, in slave days anymore. And I always try to tell people is that if you are agreeing to that nonsense one drop, you're basically supporting slavery. You're saying that it's okay to be enslaved. That's not a compliment. I'm just letting you know right now, that is not a compliment. Hold on for a second. I have some computer issues as always. Ooh, what's wrong with this thing? Oh, I think it's not allowing me to do it because I have two devices at once. Hold on. I believe that's what the issue is. Yeah, I can almost guarantee that's what it. Are you kidding me? Let's see. Sorry, everyone. Just bear with me. I'm trying to get on here so I can show you the research because I'm all about transparency. It's very important. So there's, trying to dispel all these falsities that keep floating around. People just making up stuff because they're not reading. And I tell you before, is knowledge is power. And it's a lived experience. Trust me when I say that. Lived experience. I think the reason why it's giving me a problem is because I have two devices at the same time, and I think my Wi-Fi or whatever's going on, it's confusing. They're crossing hairs. So, see, I can't. You got to be kidding me. Really? It won't allow me to put my password in. I'm trying. Just bear with me. Yeah, it's because I'm live. It's not allowing me to. Oh, that's so disappointing because I wanted to show you. Well, anyway, I'm gonna probably have to do another video, a part 2. I don't want to, but I'm gonna probably have to do a part 2 because I'm all about the education. It's not the same. So again, it's not about supporting divisions. I am a pro-unity person. I want to make that crystal clear. But what I don't like is ignorance. I don't like when people are trying to say, oh, we're all the same. Yeah, we're all human. Yes, that I'll agree with. But we still have our differences too. If we didn't have it's like a salad bowl. If we're all the same, all lettuce would be a very boring salad. You have to have diversity. People learn from diversity. If we're all the same, it'll be boring as hell. But all I'm trying to tell you is research things before, saying things that are not correct, because it doesn't make you look intelligent at all. And I do want to mention the owner, Dr. Kittles. I follow him on LinkedIn. I really admire him. I look up to him. I think he's amazing. I venerate him. But Dr. Kittles, he owns African Ancestry DNA. He has a couple of videos, about 3 of them, that talks about what I'm mentioning to all of you, that our Black ancestors were never variegated in terms of skin tone. No, they were extremely dark with tight 4 hair, tight coiled, not loosely coiled or loose textured, 4C dark eyes and very dark skin from West Africa. So there's 16 countries in West Africa. That's how they looked when they came here. They were not light skinned. So I don't know why people would say we come in all shades. No, mixed race people come in all shades. Even if it happened many years ago, genes don't expire like food, like potables and edibles, ladies and gentlemen. Again, human biology will teach you this. There's a thing known as atavism. Atavism is when you inherit traits from a progenitor from hundreds of years ago that miraculously showed up in your phenotype. That's the actual thing. It's called atavism. Look it up. ATAVISM. Atavism. And then in terms of the blue eyes, as I mentioned in one of my videos, the hypercolorized eyes that you see in West Africa, dark-skinned Black children, or people with blue eyes, like, oh, we can have blue eyes too. No, that's a syndrome. Those are not normal. They're natural because they're part of the person's body, but they're not normal though. Waardenburg syndrome is a disease. It usually causes neural sensory issues like vision and hearing, and other things too, like sensitive skin, because sometimes they have hypopigmentation. It's the lightening of the skin, which is very similar to oculocutaneous albinism, which is 4 types of oculocutaneous albinism. There's 4 types, but Waardenburg syndrome causes the hypercolorized blue eyes, or there's a subvariant, which is heterochromia iridum, brown eye and blue eye, then heterochromia iridis, brown eyes with blue pigments, and then a reversal, blue eyes with brown pigments. Yes, that's called heterochromia iridis, and the preceding one is iridum. That's a syndrome. All groups get it, but it's disproportionately high in West Africa. And many researchers do not know why that is. So it's an enigma, okay? But it's a disease. It has nothing to do with this Eve nonsense. I don't know where people are getting this Eve. I have several doctors, if I can post it, that debunked the Eve thing. That's, again, false information. I don't know where people get it from. Maybe the Bible, who knows? But it's false information. And for those that are watching this that are, religious, because I don't know, I kind of consider myself a secular. I mean, no, I am kind of religious, I'm spiritual, but then I have some secularity aspects as well. So I'm kind of like an amalgamation of all those things. But my point is that these doctors talk about it, that there's no Eve gene. So I don't know where people are learning this nonsense from. But also I want to say is that, the Bible. The Bible didn't fall from the sky. It was chronicled by a human being. And guess what? Human beings are fallible. You know what that means? Capable of error. So I don't go by what the Bible says. I respect it, but a Bible to me is not an absolute. It's not, what's the word? Plenary. No, it's not. I don't go by that. I go by science. No, science could be flawed at times. I get that, because again, there are very few absolutes in this world, but science has far more credibility than opinions and paralogy and sophistry, just so you know. But I think I'm done. So I covered the 1-drop rule, which is old news. It's outdated. 1967 is null and void. Don't keep bringing that up, because it shows you have an enslaved mind, that you believe in slavery. You believe that you're 3/5 of a human being. That's not a compliment. That's an insult, actually. So I take umbrage to that. What else? Number 2 was I covered the power of research affecting the 3 branches of government. What else? I talked about MDS, myelodysplastic syndrome. And again, the research, the penal system, over 150. But like I said, for some reason I cannot get onto my computer. Oh wait, hold on for a second. Wait a minute. Yeah, see, what is wrong with? I think it's because of this right here. It's not allowing me. I can flip over my camera so you can see it. See this right here? I'm trying to put in a password. See that? Look at all that. Now, if I back up, try to put my password in, look, it won't allow me to do it. So see, it's skipping. I think it's because I had this live video going on. Well, when I get time, I'm gonna have to just do another video, which I don't want to, and then give me your feedback. We'll talk soon. Bye, everyone. Oh, let me flip this over.